What is MLA Style? MLA Style refers to a set of rules for formatting, writing, and citing your research for an academic paper or project. It's commonly used in English and other humanities courses. The style rules are published in the MLA Handbook, written by the Modern Language Association. It's updated every few years, and the handbook is currently in its 9th edition. There are 2 parts to citing in MLA: in-text citations and works cited entries. Both parts need to be included for your citations to be correct. In-text citations appear directly after you use information within the body of your work itself. They are brief citations to get your reader to the Works Cited page where they can find out more information and tell your reader what part of an article, book, or video that you used. The in-text citation usually consists of the author or creator's last name and the page number that the fact or quote came from, in parentheses, followed by a period. If there's no page number, just include the last name of the author. For video or audio sources, use a timestamp instead of a page number. If there are 2 authors, list them both. If there are 3 or more authors, list the first author, followed by the abbreviation et al. If there's no author, use the title of the work instead. The Works Cited page lists all works that you cited within your project. You might cite one article several times throughout your paper, but it only needs to be included once in your Works Cited. A Works Cited entry provides the full details of how to locate that work. Citations are arranged in alphabetical order by the first piece of information in the list. The information you need to cite a work depends on the type of information. MLA uses the language of source and container when building citations. A source is the piece of information that you are citing. Some sources might be inside of larger pieces of information, which MLA refers to as containers. To cite a source, you need to describe the source itself as well as each of its containers. For example, your source might be an article that was published inside of a scholarly journal, but then you access that journal through a bigger container, a database. MLA uses a set of core elements to cite pieces of information. When citing a source, fill in the elements needed for your source and leave unnecessary fields blank. In other words, if the data is missing, skip it and move on to the next. The first element is the author, or the primary creator of the work that you are citing. Next is the title of the source, which is the title of the work that you are citing. After describing the source, we need to describe the container or containers where the source lives. Think of it kind of like a mailing address. You start off with the smallest part, like a house number. Then it keeps getting bigger and bigger: the street, the city, the state, and so on. This is where the information will vary, depending on the type of information that it is. 3 of the most common works you'll cite are articles from a journal, websites, and books. To cite a print book, you only really need 4 pieces of information: the author or authors, the title, the publisher, and the publication date. Author last name, comma, author first name, period. Title of the book in italics, period. Publisher, comma, publication date, period. If it's an ebook, you'll also need to describe the container or database where you retrieved the ebook. Database name, comma, URL, period. Citing an article gets a bit more complicated, since they often are within 2 containers. An article is inside of a journal, which is then inside of a database. First, we describe the article itself. Author last name, comma, author first name, period. Title of article in quotation marks, period. Then we describe container 1, the journal. Title of journal in italics, comma, volume number, comma, issue number, comma, date, comma, page numbers, period. Finally, we have to describe the second container, the database where we access the journal article. Database name in italics, comma, and either the DOI, or Digital Object Identifier, or a permanent link to the article. If the article has a DOI, it will be listed in the database record for that article. Citing websites can get tricky, since they often don't have consistent information. For web pages, use as much information as you have and skip the rest. The citation for a web page starts the same as for a book or article, with the author. Author last name, comma, author first name, period. Title of web page in quotation marks, period. Many times you won't be able to find an author for a web page. In that case, start with the title of the web page in quotes, followed by a period. The web page that you're citing lives on a larger website or container. Title of the website in italics, comma, date of publication or copyright or last updated date, comma, link to the web page, period. These are just a few common types of citations. Not everything will fit this pattern. For more examples of citing different types of resources in MLA Style, visit the LSC Library's citation help pages.